Well, Rangers get the defence of the CIS Cup underway tonight with the visit of Clyde. Alec McLeish gives starting jerseys to Novo, Bob Malcolm, Thomas Buffel, and a debut to 17-year-old fullback Alan Loewen. For Clyde, well, they're along the usual lines. It's a very shallow squad under Graham Roberts, the former Ibrox favourite, but look out for former Ranger Tom Brighton wearing 11. The match is underway, courtesy of Michael McCurry's whistle. So, it's Clyde already in possession, although Olivier Bernard quick to intercept the long ball over the top. Crowd still coming into Ibrox tonight. I think we can anticipate something along the lines of 30,000. It's a trophy Alec McLeish is very proud of course. His first trophy as Rangers manager. Bernard again in possession, takes the pass from Bob Malcolm. That's a good ball. It sends Buffel in with a chance, and the delivery into the danger area just intercepted by Neil McGregor, the former Kilmarnock player. But Buffel on his bike early. Bernard spotted the run and picked him out with a ball in the channel. Rangers force the first corner kick. It's Thomas Buffel again. Good delivery. Ask questions of the defence. Shooting chance. It's not far away at all. Disappointment, I suggest, for Novo. Acknowledges the delivery from Thomas Buffel, lurking with intent at that back post. But this time, the sight's slightly out and Novo drills the wrong side of the upright. Paul Jarvie will get the game back underway. Son of a former Aberdeen favourite. Paul Jarvie, the young goalkeeper for Clyde. Kyrgiakos just knocks it long. Both teams just perhaps anxious to settle down, get their passing game going early. And an early goal would indeed be a huge lift to Rangers. Clyde wearing their change kit tonight. Oh, nifty footwork there. Not a bad delivery either. Rangers have some defending to do. Brighton with the cross. Kyrgiakos slices the clearance. Plays his get out of jail card free, I suggest there, and Olivier Bernard. He completes the defensive duties for Rangers as Jeffers just makes life a bit difficult there for the defender. Uses his body to good effect and gives Rangers the throw in. Thomas Buffel shows for it. You can always anticipate he'll take the responsibility, and he's taken a knock in the process. The Belgian may just need some treatment here. He's not quite been firing in all cylinders in recent weeks, but Rangers anxious to get the game going. Take the free kick quickly. Work it to young Alan Loewen, gets a good early touch. Plays the 1-2. Novo now cuts inside. Tries to thread the ball through. Jeffers shows for it. Can Rangers find an opening here in this Clyde defence? No, they can't. Clyde work the ball clear. Rangers, you may notice, tonight wearing numbers 1 to 11. How different's that? Alan Loewen again, always willing to play the pass. Just tries to feed it inside to Franny Jeffers. Can't get a touch, and Paul Jarvie happy to gather for Clyde. Marvin Andrews wins the header. How often did we say that last season? Good to see him back in the side. Came off the bench against Kilmarnock to a huge warm applause from the home fans. Tonight, Marv rewarded with the starting jersey. Lovenkrands a bit fortunate to get away with that first touch. It's intercepted again. There's a through ball. Alec Williams has made a good run. Ronald Waterreus also makes a good run from his goal line to gather. Knocks it long. McKeown with a header for Clyde. McGregor now. Tom Brighton gets a touch. Peels off. Goes for the return. Lofted pass. Andrews wins it for Rangers. Bob Malcolm just anchoring in front of the back four tonight. Tidy job. Introduces the ball to Alan Loewen. Feeds it out to Novo. Still winning his squad number. Good footwork from the little Spaniard. Cuts inside. Pokes the ball forward. Chance for Buffel. That's the opener. Rangers get the start they wanted. Thomas Buffel knocks the ball home. Inventive run from Novo. Plays the ball in for the running Buffel. And Buffel, well, so composed in front of goal. Happy to knock the ball beyond Jarvie, giving Rangers the dream start within 5 minutes of the first whistle. It's Rangers 1, Clyde 0. I just look there at the movement of Novo. It really is exquisite, and the pass was just on a silver salver for Buffel to knock the ball home. It's Rangers 1, Clyde 0. Thomas Buffel on target. Buffel again in the thick of the action, gets support from Novo. Kyrgiakos with a defending header. The big Greek really is, well, he's almost Amoruso-esque, isn't he? He is very like Amoruso, the way he goes about his job. So exuberant, but so full of confidence, and a player the fans, I think, can relate to. Bernard tries to get forward, links up Jeffers, 2 signings in the transfer window. Buffel again, good touch to Alan Loewen. Buffel gets the return pass, not sure that he was wanting it, still remonstrating with the referee, but he's got the ball again. Gives it back to Alan Loewen. Good switch of play from the youngster, still only 17 years of age. And Bob Malcolm, again, composed under pressure. Just plays it inside the full-back. He wanted the runner to chase that one, wasn't going to happen. And Michael McGowan picks it up for Clyde. Alan Loewen deserving his chance. He's not just a political selection tonight, can I suggest. He's there on merit. He really is Mr. Consistency in the reserves. And a useful acquisition with the return of Alan Hutton imminent. Why not? Young Loewen is certainly a natural fullback. As Nacho Novo can't quite keep the ball in play. Eddie Malone has the throw in for Clyde. Tom Brighton, former Rangers youngster, the target. And he's just policed all the way with Loewen and Novo backtracking, doubling up on Tom Brighton. And Rangers now have the throw in. Nice night in the southwest of Glasgow. Perfect for a CIS Cup tie. Jeffers just holds off the challenge of the defender. Bernard hasn't wasted a ball so far. Lovenkrands, not seen much of him yet. That could be a partnership to watch in the left flank for Rangers as the weeks sort of disappear as we get into mid-season, into the winter. The pace of Lovenkrands and the exquisite passing of Bernard could well come to Rangers' aid as Tom Brighton, perhaps with the aid of an arm, gets the ball down. Kyrgiakos just forces him up a one-way street. And he gets support there. Knocked back in, goes for the return. Ball breaks free off Bob Malcolm. And Alan Loewen picks it up. It's not a bad ball over the top, just tries to turn the defenders. And you hear the reaction from the fans tonight. They're just encouraging this youngster. Another product of the Murray Park Youth Initiative. So often criticised, but when you look at the track record and the progress made of guys like Ross McCormick, Stevie Smith, well, it's only a matter of time until there's a number of young players knocking for inclusion, knocking on that door for inclusion in the first team squad. Another name to watch out for, let me say, is young Brian Gilmer. I think Brian is heading for a big season. Another player still eligible to play under 19s, but knows where the goals are. Already notched against Celtic second 11 this season. And another young player from the Murray Park conveyor belt. But what about the conveyor belt here? Well, Lovenkrands, great pace, impeded by McKeown as he tried to lose the attentions of the defender. Not sure if there was any intent from the defender, and the referee Michael McCurry allows play to continue. However, with the second challenge there, a rather belated challenge from Bernard, he does choose to give the game a bit of a breather, and the free kick goes the way of visitors Clyde. Now, Neil McGregor playing in a more orthodox central defender role tonight. Equally comfortable either fullback. Left Kilmarnock in the summer. Bernard, well, he took the ball at pace and he's Just body check there. And the referee well positioned to give the free kick the way of Rangers. Taken quickly. Bernard again. He'll be happy to get another 90 minutes under his belt. Lovenkrands in the flank again. Takes a late challenge, mind you. As Ian Murray now picks it up for Rangers. What a signing he's been since leaving Easter Road in the summer. Bernard goes to ground. He's getting a wee bit towsy at the moment. And perhaps suggestions a wee bit afters as well there. The late challenge from Paul McHale. You tracked the run of Peter Lovenkrands. The referee, while the game stopped, just taking a minute or two to remind the players that he did give them a bit of an advantage. I think the term may be, do not milk it. Now, free kick to Rangers. Can they conjure up a second goal? Bernard sweeps in the ball, not a good one, easily defended, edge of the box. Buffel pounces in the loose ball, links up with Novo. Step over from the Spaniard. It's not a bad delivery either. It's well defended again though. McHale in front of his central defenders. Another former Rangers youngster, not the tallest, but a good header. Bob Malcolm just covering centre back at the moment, following the sortie by Sotti up the park along with Marvin Andrews for that dead ball. Is great skill from Novo, great pace again, drives between two defenders, forces a corner kick. The last touch there off Stephen O'Donnell, former Dundee United player. Gives Rangers an opportunity to send forward the big guns again. Andrews a target, Buffel with the delivery. It's on target too, but well defended at the post. Well, good protection of the goalkeeper there, but good inventive delivery from Thomas Buffel. And Marvin Andrews climbing above his marker. Just knocked it goalward. Marvin loved to get in the score sheet, of course. Opened his Rangers account last season against Kilmarnock. A year ago, almost to the day, back in September. 2-0 victory at Ibrox that day. Marvin's first goal. Memorable goal for the big fella. Waterreus, an ever present for Rangers this season. Tonight, playing his 11th match of the campaign. Brighton hooks it on. Wants the return, Lowen. One of the features of young Allen's qualities, indeed, is he doesn't dive in, he stands tall. He reminds me, very much like a young Sandy Jardine. That's a huge compliment, I know. But he certainly is a youngster who doesn't seem fazed in any environment. The Rangers just usher the ball behind. The CIS Cup, no route to Europe from this competition nowadays. However, if you don't win this one, I think the term is, you can't win the treble. The game just slowing down in tempo at the moment. Clyde are here in merit, of course. This is their third match of the tournament and their third match away from home. En route to this big fixture tonight at Ibrox, they knocked out Montrose and Peterhead. So they certainly deserve the big check they'll take home with them this evening. And they're making not a bad fist of it so far. Although they do chase the game following that man Thomas Buffel's 5th minute strike. Buffel leaves the throw in to the Paris-born Olivier Bernard. Very cosmopolitan Rangers side. We have a Dutchman in goal. And a back four of Scottish, Trinidad and Tobago, Greece, France. Midfield, a Spaniard and a Dane. Anchored by two Scots. A Belgian, a token Englishman up front. However, Bernard links up with Buffel. Rangers just try and draw Clyde forward and then spring the offside trap. Good angled ball. Now, Lovenkrands, he's scored such a super goal against Aberdeen, and then again against Porto. That's a dangerous delivery. It just spins off Eddie Malone. Didn't know much about it, the defender. He joined them at the start of the season from St Johnstone, and his goalkeeper had to look lively. Alan Loing doesn't get a good header on it. A bit of a blindside challenge on Tom Brighton. Good recovery from the youngster though. Novo shows for support. Alan Loing, cushion pass. So composed, gives the ball to Marvin, sweeps it out, looks for Lovenkrands, does well to keep it in play. However, Clyde forage for it. They've got their spirits up at the moment, despite being a goal down. Ball just breaks off the arm of Ian Murray, no intent, of course, is the decision from the referee, and Jeffers drops deep to link up, feeds it to Loing. Bob Malcolm again, over the top, looks for the run there of Thomas Buffel. Well, Buffel had gone just fractionally early, and the far side assistance, flag in the air, gives Clyde possession. I did mention the League of Nations. I'll just confirm the Rangers starting 11 for you now, if you haven't already picked up on it, of course. As Thomas Buffel goes down under a heavy challenge there from McKeown. It's Waterreus in goal, a back four of Alan Loing, Martin Andrews, Soti, Kyrgiakos and Olivier Bernard. In midfield, Novo, Bob Malcolm, Ian Murray and Peter Lovenkrands. Up front, Thomas Buffel and Franny Jeffers. On the bench tonight, should be called upon, Hamed Namouchi, Barry Ferguson, Federico Nieto, Stefan Klos and Carol Pierre-Fanfan. As Graham Roberts just gets a word in his ear from referee McCurry, perhaps just a wee bit vocal on the touchline there. For Clyde, they have Paul Jarvie, Neil McGregor, Robert Harris, Craig McKeown, Eddie Malone, Craig Bryson, Stephen O'Donnell, Paul McHale, Michael McGowan, Alec Williams and Tom Brighton. Up front, it's Billy Brawley, Gary Arbuckle, Andrew Dick, Joe Miller, Peter Cherrie are the substitutes. Game of keep ball just now between Kyrgiakos and Olivier Bernard. And again, Clyde just proving a bit stubborn to break down right now. And Rangers showing some patience, as they have to do. I suppose in context, this is Clyde's cup final. Marvellous skills, Bernard. Feeds it inside to Jeffers, good footwork. Alan Loing goes on the overlap, wants the pass from Novo. Novo elects to hold it up. Flicks it into the box, looks for Jeffers. No deliberate pass back. The ball just lofted in the air from a defender. And Rangers just slow the game down again. A late challenge on Malone. Gives Clyde the free kick. Heavy programme of games for Rangers, of course. The CIS Cup tie and a visit to league leaders Hearts on Saturday with an early kick-off, of course, 12:30. It really is a huge fixture, to say nothing of a trip across to Italy for a match that will be in the ghost town that is the San Siro. Alan Loing now just drops it into the path of Buffel. Tries to find Malcolm. Good determined challenge. Wins it back for Clyde. As is the challenge there again from Rangers to avoid Tom Brighton getting a shot and goal. In comes the cross and fine defending header, Marvin Andrews. Rangers defending perhaps fractionally deep at the moment though. As Kyrgiakos happy to let the ball go behind for a goal kick. Ronald Waterreus. He has made the number 1 jersey his own at the moment. If you can follow that logic, he is wearing number 25. Otherwise, it's 2-11. Oh, for the good old days. But Rangers finding it just difficult to play through Clyde at the moment. But it's Buffel who's always willing to come short and link up. Just defended 2v1 there. Bernard, just a late push on Alec Williams. And again, Clyde with the free kick. Paul McHale comes over, try and conjure up the delivery that might just hurt Rangers, get his team back into the game. Bob Malcolm, first defender, wins the header. Rangers work it from defence. Buffel now finds Lovenkrands. Shut down quickly, that'll please Graham Roberts. Don't leave a defender exposed in a 1-on-1 situation, especially with the explosive pace of Lovenkrands. Two defenders, quick, to ensure no through road for the flying Dane. He's back in possession now though. Cuts inside, but again he's closed down. Clyde showing real determination as Brighton takes a pass, links up with Williams, tries to feed it back to him. Intercepted now McHale. And Jeffers just forced off the ball by Craig Bryson. Murray does well under pressure. Feeds out to Alan Lowing. Novo shows for it now. Now the wee man would love a goal as well. Not quite firing in all cylinders, Nacho, at the moment. But again, Clyde get bodies behind the ball. That's a late challenge there from Bob Malcolm. And the referee well positioned to call that one correct. Bob Malcolm, still only 24. Only one SPL start this campaign and twice off the bench. Paul Jarvie, he's far travelled tonight. Out his box to take this free kick. And he was far travelled when he left Dundee United. Had a short spell in the south coast of England with Torquay United. Had a bit of a howler when he played in goal in a Dundee derby. Probably cost him his Tannadice career. Kicks it long. Given away cheaply by Rangers again. Novo doubling up in the defensive area with Alan Lowing. Alan Lowing does it all himself though. Looked like a corner. However, last touch just breaks off the Clyde player. Goes behind for a goal kick. Rangers holders of this CIS Cup trophy, of course. A memorable final last year when Motherwell were put to the sword. Opening scorer that night, Maurice Ross. Not one that he'll forget in a hurry, that's for sure. And a double for Soti Kyrgiakos. Rangers enjoyed success in this tournament regularly over the years. And they would love to put the first silverware on the table again for season 2005-2006. Kyrgiakos tries to pick out Buffel. Novo's first touch is, well, let's say questionable. His second's better. He uses Ronald Waterreus as the out ball. Well, you certainly have to say Clyde have had a game plan. They've made the short journey from Cumbernauld and they're well organised under two Old Firm legends, Graham Roberts and his assistant Joe Miller, the man that goes by the name of Snorky, former Celtic and Aberdeen front player. They certainly had to build a team from scratch for the start of the season, and you have to say with very limited resources They've done a wonderful job. Novo takes a, well, inch perfect pass from Waterreus. Has to do a bit of crab football there, as he got a late challenge, and a late whistle indeed, gives Rangers the free kick. It's certainly a stern warning from referee McCurry. I'm sure Michael McGowan took it all on board and dismissed it just as quickly. Now, Lovenkrands for Rangers. He has a chance to go at Harris here, indeed. Doubling up. It's a good delivery into the 6-yard box. Good handling, Paul Jarvie. However, you could argue the ball had the goalkeeper's name on it if it's in the 6-yard box. As Rangers have it again now. Ian Murray with a chance to drive at Clyde's back four. He doesn't seem to have an awful lot of direction. Was going purely on impetus. Suggestions he may just have been in the box. Michael McCurry indicates it was the wrong side of the white line for a penalty kick, so they have to settle for the goal kick. However, Ian Murray, he just dropped a gear, exposed the defender. Natural athletic type player, and so versatile as well. Kyrgiakos now, back post. It will need a good delivery though. Buffel and Malcolm will try and conjure something up here. Malcolm just, well, it deceived everyone. Everyone looking for the ball to the back post. Bob Malcolm just dropped it into the danger area, into the path of Lovenkrands, who'd peeled off. His shot in the turn, off the base of the post and off the defender for a corner kick. Good invention from Rangers as they chase a second goal. Kyrgiakos can only head it in the air. McGregor clearing header for Clyde. Brighton, he's got a bit of pace. Drives away from Bob Malcolm. Goes one-on-one with Alan Lowe. Tries to squeeze between the defenders. Perhaps just lost his footing at the critical moment. But gets some acknowledgement from the crowd tonight. From Brighton. Made his Rangers debut 3 seasons ago. Last day of the season at Dunfermline. Struggled a bit with injuries. Moved on to Scunthorpe on loan. And notched a couple of goals last season in John Brown's Young Guns. Tom Brighton, keen to impress tonight for sure. Jeffers just can't get it under control. Chases down the goalkeeper. Jarvie, confident kick. Picked up Bernard. Alan Lowe takes a good first touch. Links up with Buffel. Always willing to come short. Bit of a late challenge on Bob Malcolm there from Alec Williams. In fact, Tom Brighton may have been the Clyde front man. Got the last touch. The Rangers band get fired up. Try and drive the team on to what could be a very important second goal. The team is of course separated from Thomas Buffel's strike of the 5th minute. "20 minutes left of first half action as Bernard drives forward. Good delivery with pace on it. Novo tries to knock it back to Buffel. Clyde again, 6 players in protecting the goalkeeper. Bernard this time gives it away cheaply. Williams gets support from the runner. Brighton keeps it in the air. Marvin Andrews. Well, good anticipation from the big Trinidad and Tobago internationalist. Buffel again. Tries to forage for it, but determination from Clyde. They've got it all to do though as Rangers filter bodies behind the ball. Now McHale looking for the runner. Oh, good touch too. However, Bernard, aware that Lovenkrands had been exposed, gets in behind them. Good covering challenge from the former Newcastle and Southampton defender. Hold it comes the call as Kyrgiakos just knocks it off Alec Williams for a Rangers throw. Rangers haven't really imposed themselves in the game at the moment the way Alec McLeish and Andy Watson would have expected, I suggest, despite the early goal. Should have settled the nerves, and it's Buffel the goal scorer. Now in behind, needs support. Holds it up, McGregor with a sliding challenge. Again, 2v1. Good defending from Clyde. Thomas Buffel just looks for inspiration. Needed someone closer to him. Rangers have to build it from the back again. Route 1 from Kyrgiakos. Novo can't get a touch, and it just drifts beyond the upright for a goal kick. Nacho Novo, well, I think he would absolutely kill for a goal right now. Hasn't scored since the penalty goal against Falkirk. That was back on the 10th of September. 2 other goals in his locker for the season. Well, I suppose they were big games, Celtic and Famagusta. Ian Murray drops a shoulder, does well. Keeps possession for Rangers. Alec Williams, well, he was looking for the delivery there from Tom Brighton, just as I said. Ian Murray keeps possession. What does he do? He almost gives it away. Kyrgiakos again, this time too deep. Paul Jarvie, quick to gather. Alec Williams adjudged to have been backing into the defender Kyrgiakos there. Good defending from Clyde again. Paul Jarvie just takes his eye off the ball momentarily, perhaps thinking one step ahead about getting it back into play. Almost concedes the corner kick, but good recovery from the youngster. Ian Murray, just the insurance man in front of the back four. Very determined in the challenge. And Bryson leaves this one to McGowan. Buffel does well. It wasn't a great ball. He's done well to retain possession for Rangers. Alan Lowing shows he's got a bit of pace about him, sprints into an area to receive the pass and holds it up well. That's good football from the youngster. But again, you see Rangers find it difficult just to play the final incisive pass, and it's not about lack of invention, it's not about lack of touch. It's about the defensive qualities and organisation that Clyde have brought to this fixture tonight. As Buffel in possession again. You might just think about a shot from here, tries to link up Jeffers. Good defending though. Harris and McKeown, they combine. And you have to compliment Clyde as well. They're defending from the front right now, and that gives a huge lift to the midfielders and defenders as well. Great touch from Novo. Jeffers returns the compliment to the Spaniard. Can he keep it in play? He cuts it back, looks for Buffel. Well, Good energy levels from Rangers. Stepped on the gas. The pace of Novo took him in behind. And he tried to just pick out Buffel. But again, good defending from Graham Roberts' side. Loeing takes a late challenge from Brighton. Looks as if Brighton come off worse though. Buffel links up Jeffers. Delivered to the back post, looking for Lovenkrands. There's a header, it's not far away. Oh, Peter Lovenkrands, not noted for his heading ability, but the delivery from Thomas Buffel was absolutely sublime. And Lovenkrands' header, a coat or two of paint away from giving Rangers their second goal of the evening. Bit of treatment to Tom Brighton, that's why we have a stoppage just now. It'll give Clyde a bit of a breather as well. An opportunity just to reflect on their endeavours in the first half hour or so. Despite losing the goal after only 5 minutes to Thomas Buffel, they certainly haven't capitulated. And the small travelling support, I almost said from Cumbernauld, they may well be from Rutherglen, the home of Clyde, of course, original Clyde, will be delighted with the work rate and commitment and endeavour shown by their side. Good defending, Kyrgiakos and Bernard will giving away Lovenkrands. O'Donnell just feeds it in the channel there, looks for the movement of Bryson. And Bob Malcolm does well, just tracks the run. Good news for Rangers fans, of course, is Chris Burke coming back from injury. He'll be stepping up his training programme this week and could well be in contention for a first team slot or a squad place anyway within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Bernard links up Jeffers, another player who'd love a goal tonight, Franny Jeffers. A lot of money changed hands in his career. Let's hope he can ignite the career that may just have stalled in recent seasons with his loan spell at Rangers from Charlton. Alan Loeing always determined to keep possession. Kyrgiakos now feeds it out to the overlapping Bernard. Bernard a bit frustrated. Perhaps just a tug of the shirt. Olivier Bernard. He's a wee bit behind the rest on fitness levels, but a natural replacement for Michael Ball, and probably a bit more competitive as far as the financial structure of his contract goes. Ian Murray wins it in midfield, releases Novo. Novo holds off the defender with the aid of an arm, but he was getting his heels clicked all the way, and Rangers do indeed have the free kick. Again, Buffel will link up with Bob Malcolm to pose questions of the Clyde defence. The last delivery from this area from Malcolm gave the shooting chance to Lovenkrands. We'll see what they have in this one. Could be a Murray Park training ground move. It's going to be Buffel. Goes the aerial route this time. Easily defended at the penalty spot. And I think the term there for that clearance from Robert Harris is gave it a bit of Timson. Technical term, of course. Interesting how Bernard just slots into the central defensive role when The twin towers of Kyrgiakos and Andrews go forward for these set pieces. But Rangers have some defending to do. With half-time approaching, they still only have this 1-goal advantage. McHale again. Williams shows for it. O'Donnell's gone in the overlap. Alec Williams does well to hold it up. He does use O'Donnell as the outball. Again, Rangers now showing they're equally adept at getting bodies behind the ball when need be. And the final pass, well, literally comes to nothing at all. Bit of frustration creeping in for Clyde. Done more so than perhaps Alec Williams there. But Waterreus, so far, with only 4 minutes or so remaining, has not had a save to make. Lovenkrands just drifting over to the right flank for the moment, trying to perhaps enjoy a wee bit more possession and opportunity to get in behind the defence. Jeffers looking a wee bit static on his heels there. Picked up Murray. Succession of triangular passes there from Rangers. Keep possession and work the ball from back to front quite efficiently. Although again, Clyde get red-shirted bodies behind the ball. And I think that one can go down to frustration. Buffel very quick to close McGregor down there. Almost profited from it. It's the pace of the ball just spinning off his instep, going behind for the goal kick. Buffel, if he doesn't win it in the air, he'll certainly give you his all to get it back in the deck, and he does so. Picks it out. Passes it to Lowen. Good footwork from the 17-year-old. And again to Jeffers. Rangers looking for the second goal with half-time whistle approaching. Big switch to Bernard. Novo comes short to link up. Now Ian Murray works it back in his left foot. Good touch, Bernard. Whips in the delivery. Good defending though. Two defenders staying goal side of the ball. Had to cross two defenders to get to Jeffers, and it didn't. So you have to compliment the defending again from Clyde, as Rangers perhaps just try and up the tempo prior to half time. Fans perhaps just getting slightly anxious that they've not put this game to bed. Novo just holds off the challenge from McKeown. Does well, drives into the box, pulls back the delivery there. It spins off the heels of McGregor, and Paul Jarvie gathers it as a bit of a gift. But again, you never see Novo's head go down. He's always looking to exploit every opportunity. Perhaps a handball against Williams, and the referee agrees. In fact, it was Bryson just illegally using his arm to try and escape the clutches of the big Greek. It's not a bad effort from Bob Malcolm. Just tries to play inside Malone, angle fractionally out. And Jarvie. Well, I suggested Waterreus hadn't had many saves to make. To be honest, neither has Jarvie, apart from the one that he didn't, which was the Buffel goal after 5 minutes. Well, Malcolm caught in possession, but Alan Loing steps in. Now Clyde, perhaps, how they would love to go in at half-time on level terms. Not an awful lot of options open to them. It's not a bad delivery though. Although again, Thomas Buffel, who's covered every blade of grass tonight, is caught in possession though. And the final ball again. A bit ambitious there, trying to test Waterreus. Not on target. And harmlessly behind for a Rangers goal kick. Well, there's the half-time whistle. 45 minutes have come and gone at Ibrox. Rangers could be said to be making heavy weather of it. 5 minutes on the clock. Thomas Buffel's goal separates the sides. Half-time at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Clyde 0. Welcome back to Ibrox for the second half of the CIS Cup. Clash between Rangers and Clyde. Rangers leading by the narrowest of margins. Thomas Buffel's 5th minute strike separates the sides as Rangers get the second half underway. Alan Loing making his debut tonight. Not such a good ball from Bob Malcolm. Gives Clyde possession again as Waterreus just scoops it in the air, kicks for touch. And that will be a throw-in to the visitors. Ball swept into the danger area. Well headed Claire Bernard. A shooting chance just off the arm there of Ian Murray. Referee Michael McCurry decides that it was ball to arm, not arm to ball. As Clyde come out with all guns blazing for the start of the second period. Jeffers to Bob Malcolm, wearing the skipper's armband tonight. Bob Malcolm. Buffel again. He uses Bob Malcolm to good effect. The last time Rangers and Clyde met in this competition was at Broadwood. There's a bit of a catch-weight competition going on there as well, isn't there? Alec Williams, a bit of a terrier around the ankles of Soti Kyrgiakos. Kyrgiakos says, "Is this what you were after? It's spherical, it's leather." And that's as close as you'll probably get to it, he suggests. Novo takes a knock in the back in the process as O'Donnell brings it down now. That's a good through ball. Williams gets a very late challenge from Kyrgiakos. Perhaps suggestion of a bit of retaliation for some of the verbals and close attention that Alec Williams was paying to the big Greek defender a minute or so ago. But no whistle means the game continues. I'm sure it would have been two rather interesting dressing rooms through the half-time interval. Alan Loing, quick to get across Brighton. That's Tom, not the resort in the English South Coast. A good challenge. Can't keep that one in play, and Rangers have the goal kick. Yeah, I suggest Alec McLeish in his half-time talk would have been saying, go on, get a second goal early in the second period and we can look forward to our name being in the hat for the next round. Is Alan Loing perhaps a wee bit casual? Good recovery though. Wins it back from Tom Brighton. Inside to Nacho Novo, gets between two defenders. Buffel gets the break of the ball. Rangers forced to start all over again. Bernard knocks it into the danger area. Harris knocks it clear. Murray keeps the pressure on. Novo goodly off to Buffel. Just tries to return the ball into the danger area, but again Clyde bodies behind the ball. Good heady clearance, Malone. Bit of a bagatelle at the moment. Game being played in and around Clyde's 18-yard box as Rangers perhaps go for the jugular. Now Bernard. Can he knock in a good delivery from wide areas? It is one of his big attributes. Although good defending again. Michael McGowan sticks to his task. Plays it forward. Clyde now on the break through Tom Brighton. He drives it. Marvin Andrews drops his shoulder. Plays it across the goal. There's a chance here. Clyde are back on level terms. Tom Brighton absolutely delighted. The goal scorer Craig Bryson showed real composure to flick the ball behind the diving Ronald Waterreus. It was the pace that Clyde broke at that created the chance. Tom Brighton took on Marvin Andrews, knocked it into the danger area, and Craig Bryson, well, from 6 yards, was well positioned to just pick a spot behind the goalkeeper. But let's watch this move again. Brighton takes the pass. Questions asked, where are the defenders? Goes 1-on-1 with Andrews, drops his shoulder, whips in the delivery. Bryson with his back to goal, aware of the goalkeeper's movement just with the outside of the foot, flicks it beyond Ronald Waterreus. Clyde back on level terms. Sensational stuff at Ibrox Park. Rangers 1, Clyde 1. 51 minutes on the clock. That certainly got the fans lifted. Quite an incredible score. I was busily suggesting Rangers could be going on to double their lead. And Clyde have just, well, this isn't in the game plan. I think that might well be the term. Second goal of the season for Craig Bryson, and one I'm sure the youngster will indeed remember. Now, this will be a test of character now for Rangers. Lovenkrands flicks it on to Buffel, who's made a good run, gets away from McGregor, holds it up, needs support, delivers in. Again, 3 defenders between the goal frame and Buffel. As Lovenkrands wins it back, feeds it to Buffel, headed clear though Harris. Novo keeps it in play. Rangers warm out the substitutes. Novo gets the break of the ball, runs out of football field. The ball goes behind for a goal kick. Yeah, on the bench tonight for Rangers, Hamed Namouchi, Barry Ferguson, Federico Nieto, the young Argentinian, Stefan Klos and Pierre-Fanfan. Certainly at 1 goal apiece, Alec McLeish will look for strength of character. Who's going to be the inspirational Ranger to ensure Rangers go on and progress into the quarter-finals of this tournament? Kyrgiakos with a brave header wins it back for Rangers. Buffel is one to chase. McKeown does well against them. Well, I just wonder what's going through the mind of Graham Roberts as Alan Lowen cuts inside. Malone sort of falls over his own feet. Jeffers tries to forage for it. He said no breaks at all tonight for any Jeffers. Now Bernard drops in the delivery. McGregor gets the shout from the goalkeeper Jarvie and lets it run through to the youngster between the sticks. With just a thought through half time, Joe Miller and Graham Roberts would have been saying to his young stars that this game was perhaps going the way they expected, that it was all about keeping their shape and try and frustrate the large Rangers support. And at a goal down, if you can get back on level terms, literally anything can happen. And within 6 minutes of the restart, that's just what happened. Could a shock be on the cards? Remember, of course, to determine a winner tonight, the match could well go to extra time and penalty kicks, or as the new technical term is, kicks from the mark, if we need to get a winner. One thing's for sure, someone will progress in the CIS Cup this evening. But it's Rangers 1, Clyde 1. Thomas Buffel's 5th minute strike cancelled out by Craig Bryson 6 minutes into the second half. Jeffers, well, perhaps just trying too hard at the moment. Not an awful lot happening for him, though. Lovenkrands takes the pass from Bernard. Jeffers continues his run. Buffel, good footwork. Can Rangers open up Clyde here? Roll it back. Bernard, shooting chance. Ricochets off the defender. Breaks off the on-running Buffel. Goes behind for the goal kick. Rangers know they have underperformed so far in this match. Second half only 11 minutes old. Good work from Ian Murray. It's Kyrgiakos now tries to find Jeffers, flick on header. Malone clears for Clyde. Good header again from Lovenkrands from the wide area, tries to find Jeffers. Andrews wins another header. Bit of a head tennis match at the moment. Lovenkrands perhaps just approaching full fitness. Such a useful acquisition. For so long in the summer, it looked as if he would leave the club. But he's been given his chance. Started 4 SPL matches and got 2 goals. Also 2 games in Europe and 1 goal. And what a strike that was against Porto. I'm not sure if he'll feature in the San Siro against Milan next week, but he could be very useful to come off the bench in the latter stages of a match as tired legs start to tell. Novo now with Buffel back to Bernard. Buffel again, always willing to come short. Bernard continues his run, gets the pass from Buffel. It's a handball, surely. Bernard's delivery intended for Jeffers, intercepted by McGregor. Certainly looked like a handball. Referee McCurry doesn't want to know. Oh, Mr. McCurry practices his ministry not far from here at Ibrox. But tonight, no divine intervention. Buffel with the corner. Home fans still not happy with the decision. Might fall for Malcolm, just loops in the header, looks for Kyrgiakos. Might just fall again for Andrews. He's doing a bit of an impression of the splits there, Big Marvin. Couldn't get the ball under control. And Clyde, well, they hustle the ball clear. Good delivery, Bernard just pitches and goes long. In fact, the offside flag goes up against Sote Kyrgiakos. And just to confirm, no, it looked like a penalty kick to me. But Michael McCurry decides otherwise. Perhaps suggestions that it wasn't a deliberate handball. Casual flick from Buffel allows Clyde to clear. O'Donnell now drives at Loewen, tries to feed it out to Brighton, just too heavy. Not quite convinced that Tom Brighton has shook off the injury yet that he got very early that second half. He'll have taken a lift from the goal and his hand in it, of course, as the architect for the Bryson finish. Good angled ball. Flick on it in from Lovenkrands for the header. Nerves starting to perhaps get a wee bit edgy for Rangers at the moment. Novo knocks it in, Malone just does enough. Murray supports Lovenkrands. Good 1-2. Bernard, always willing. On the overlap again, takes the pass. Knocks it in, good header. Oh, and it just, no real pace on it from Lovenkrands. He crept into the centre forward area. Got a good header on it, just not enough power to direct it beyond the goalkeeper. But Rangers having a good spell at the moment. They are camped in Clyde territory. This time Lovenkrands' touch deserts him. It's a bit of a hot potato at the moment. No one's taking a touch, getting it under control, trying to play a passing game. It's all a bit frantic. Well, if in doubt, send for a legend. And if you don't have a legend, bring on one who has ambitions to be a legend. We had Kyrgiakos, we had Gabriel Amato, the third Argentinian to wear the light blue. Federico Nieto comes on to replace Franny Jeffers. 28 minutes for the big RG hitman to catch the eye and perhaps book Rangers' place in the quarter-finals of the CIS Cup. Alan Lowe with the throw-in, Nieto the target. Flicked on by the big RG. Helped in by Ian Murray. Clyde work it clear. Good determination from Murray. Rangers may just be electing to vary the game plan at the moment with the introduction of Nieto. It might be get it forward and try and get support to Nieto in the form of Novo and Buffel. I think the term is live off the scraps. Buffel in possession now. Bernard comes forward. Bit of a mazy from the Frenchman. Just stopped in his tracks there. O'Donnell with the click of the heels. Paul McHale also there. Paul McHale left Rangers in January 2003 for a loan spell at St Mirren. One of Graham Roberts' first signings for Clyde, bringing him from Central Park, Cowdenbeath. Now Bob Malcolm with the free kick. Ambitious effort. Didn't trouble the goalkeeper. I think that all comes down to the fact that it's Rangers 1, Clyde 1. Bob Malcolm trying to play the captain's part. Wanted to lead from the front. Tried to hit the target. It needed a better effort than that though. 8 yards by 8 feet. And Paul Jarvie, so far this evening, has protected it well. Bernard, quite spring-heeled as well. Early ball over the top for the pace of Lovenkrands from Buffel. Goes 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Can't direct it on target. Agonisingly close to the second goal. Composed defending from Clyde. And again, Peter Lovenkrands thought he was on target for the third time this season. Just knocked it goalwards. But McGregor sweeping in behind the goalkeeper. Well positioned to clear. Ronald Waterreus, a virtual spectator at the moment, as Buffel into the feet of Nieto. Shooting chance, McGregor, good defend. Well, I did say, Rangers would just vary the game plan, but McGregor in the central defensive role there, stuck to Nieto like glue. Bernard comes forward again. When I said Lovenkrands looking for his second goal, of course, he has 2 in the SPL and 1 in Europe, but the second goal for Rangers is the one that's going to be crucial tonight, I suggest. Rangers go for a second change. This time, they do introduce a legend. It's the end of the match for Bob Malcolm. 66 minutes on the clock. Bob will relinquish the captain's armband for the club captain, Barry Ferguson. I'm quite sure the manager won't be over enthusiastic that he has to pitch his skipper into this fixture with 25 minutes or so remaining. with a single instruction: go on and win the game for us. As Nieto chases a lost cause. And Kilmarnock's former defender, McGregor, he's done well tonight for Clyde. It was Malone who completes the clearance. Now Andrews in possession for Rangers. Rangers perhaps just lacking the spark to go on and put Clyde to the sword. As this running battle between Alec Williams and Soti Kyrgiakos continues. Kyrgiakos just checks out the damage. Now Novo again forced away from goal. Barry Ferguson, his first taste of the action, lofts it forward. O'Donnell has to defend. Alan Lewing knocks it into the box for Nieto. He does well to wrap a leg round it, hook it back into the danger area. However, it with the period did so with the aid of an arm. He looked lively, Federico Nieto, in his two previous first team outings against Ipswich and Linfield pre-season. Did play 90 minutes in the goalless draw for the reserves against Falkirk, and being given an opportunity tonight. It's the end of the match for Tom Brighton. He gets a pat in the back from his manager Graham Roberts there, former Rangers youngster. Tom Brighton goes off and replaced by number 15, Gary Arbuckle. However, the shock news is it's still Rangers 1, Clyde 1. Nieto goes to ground, wins the free kick. Ferguson takes it despite the ball rolling at the time. Chested off to Bernard by Lovenkrands. Ferguson pushing on, tries to support the front players. Good footwork, Lovenkrands gets it back to Bernard. Knocks it into the edge of the 6-yard box, but again, this time Clyde perhaps defending a wee bit deep, but doing it with real determination and desire. How they would love a big scalp tonight. Lowing demands it from his skipper. Takes it, just tries to deliver it into the danger area. It just spins off. Harris goes behind for a corner kick. Thomas Buffel across to take the corner kick. 5 caps for Belgium. That's a good delivery too, meant for Kyrgiakos or Nieto. It's in the air. Jarvie, well, does enough, that's all you can say, against Lovenkrands. As Clyde have every player inside their own 18-yard box to defend that corner. In comes delivered again for Ferguson. Kyrgiakos, powerful header. But it's easily and comfortably pouched there by Paul Jarvie. Good angle delivery from the skipper and a fine headed effort from Kyrgiakos. A rear touch of the ball, second period for Ronald Waterreus. Towering header from Andrews. Scooped on. Again, this time Kyrgiakos intercepts. Arbuckle just can't get away from the clutches of Kyrgiakos, although given away cheaply. Bernard to Williams. Feeds it out to the goal scorer Bryson. Good recovering challenge from Olivier Bernard. Quick to get back on his feet too. Shows good upper body strength to hold off Bryson. And the challenge from McHale. And plays a fine ball to Lovenkrands. Supports him as well. Perhaps a handball. Referee McCurry well positioned. As the ball just spun in the air. Olivier Bernard just with the aid of an arm trying to keep possession. However, Clyde have the free kick. "25 minutes into the second period. Clyde knocked the free kick long. It's in the air, Andrews. The running man, Alan Loing, dives in. Oh, disaster for the youngster. Absolute disaster. It's going to be a yellow card for Alan Loing as well. But much worse than that, it is indeed a penalty kick. Bit theatrical in the dive. However, Clyde force the penalty kick. Tom Brighton says, "Can you believe it?" Alec McLeish says, "I see it, but I don't believe it." A good run forward. Good touch to come away from the challenge from Alan Loing. Down he went. And Rangers can have absolutely no complaints. It's going to be Stephen O'Donnell to take the penalty kick. Stephen O'Donnell, former Dundee United youngster, against Waterreus, right foot effort, knocks the ball home. A stunned crowd here at Ibrox. O'Donnell and Arbuckle celebrate in front of the small band of fans. It's Rangers 1, Clyde 2. Is a disaster on the cards. Well, it was a good run from Robert Harris that exposed Alan Loing. Forced the penalty kick. And Stephen O'Donnell stepped up, full of composure, no nerves about the 22-year-old at all, and sent one of Waterreus the wrong way from the 12 yards mark. Rangers have it all to do. No, Rangers now need to just go forward, show their qualities, and show they have a desire to stay in this tournament. Alan Loing, good to see him still want the ball despite conceding the penalty kick. Plays a 1-2 with skipper Ferguson. Good delivery, Ferguson. Oh, a disaster for the goalkeeper, Thomas Buffel. Knocks the ball home. Rangers back on level terms. It was a tentative ball from Barry Ferguson. The goalkeeper lost it in flight. It spun between his legs. And Thomas Buffel, his second goal of the night, on hand to knock the ball into the empty net. Paul Jarvie knows he should have done better. But Thomas Buffel, he notched his first goal for Rangers in this tournament. But watch the delivery from Ferguson. Over the top, it should be meat and drink to the young goalkeeper. Through his legs, Thomas Buffel, quick to pounce on the loose ball, and left foot angles the ball into the empty net. I mentioned his first goal for Rangers was in this tournament last season from Thomas Buffel. He opened his Rangers account against Dundee United in the semi-final of the CIS Cup. But he's got a double tonight and given Rangers a lifeline with something like 19 minutes remaining at Ibrox. It's Rangers 2, Clyde 2, cancelling out the penalty kick goal within 60 seconds. Now Rangers have to go on and show that they are the Premier League side against First Division opposition. We've got 16 minutes remaining, plus stoppages, for Rangers to book the quarter-final place. Thomas Buffel, 2 goals tonight, 2 valuable strikes. But you can't underestimate the role of the skipper coming on. Barry Ferguson replacing Bob Malcolm. And within 8 minutes of his introduction, he sets up Thomas Buffel for the second goal as Loing takes the pass from Novo. Knocks in the delivery, headed clear McGregor. Buffel peels off again, looking for the hat-trick. Lowing in support. Plays it inside Brawley. Again, Ferguson in possession. Tries to play it into the feet of Novo. Might just break again for Ferguson. Leaning back, he knocks the ball over the target. But Barry Ferguson, I think it shouldn't say Carling in that chest. It might just say winner. Well, I did suggest it could take 90 minutes and more. Could we be heading for extra time at Ibrox? Rangers 2, Clyde 2. Eddie Malone with the free kick for the visitors. Can they shock Rangers again? How they would love to, mind you. Can lightning strike twice? That's always a question. As Billy Brawley can't keep the ball in play, former Motherwell and Partick Thistle winger. He's been introduced for Robert Harris, who went down in the challenge from Lowing for that penalty kick. As Buffel gets a late challenge from McGregor. Hands up, says the youngster. Acknowledges that his challenge was late, and Rangers quickly take the free kick. Ferguson again pulling all the strings. Bernard, this is a good match tonight. Tries to get away from Bryson. McGowan gets across to shut down Bernard as well. Forces the corner kick. Bryson disappointed that McGowan actually conceded the corner. Buffel was the target for the angled ball from Ferguson. Ball just won't come down at the moment. McKeown tries to clear for Clyde. Last touch off Ferguson. And the ball's a bit of a magnet to Ferguson just now. Lowing, cushion pass to Novo, who's peeled off 20 yards out. Tries to get away from Malone. Delivered to the near post. Nieto. Now he's sliding in. He just wanted to try and keep the ball in play at the near post, but the ball had gone out on its route to the Argentinian target. And Paul Jarvie, the Clyde goalkeeper, knows he should have done better for Rangers' equalising goal. The ball just breaks off Williams there. He was offside, mind you. I just wonder if the Clyde directors are thinking 2-2. Remember the days when we'd had a second game and an extra check. Not tonight though. It is indeed played to a finish as Lovenkrands looks for that finish. Tries to hook it back into the danger area. Swept clear by McGregor, only as far as Buffel. Chisels the ball back into the chest of Nieto, takes it in his head. Won't fall for the big Argentinian. Lovenkrands keeps the pressure on. Rangers set up base camp 20 yards out now. Bernard delivers again, looks for Novo. Suggestions of his shirt just been tugged there at the same time by McKeown. However, the scoreboard doesn't tell a lie. Rangers 2, Clyde 2. Nacho Novo. Again out of touch in front of goal tonight. Flick on Nieto, good header. Buffel just alert to movement round about and elects to hold it up until Lovenkrands has timed his run to perfection. Knocks in the delivery. It needs a better ball than that. Now Lovenkrands is certainly threatened on the flanks tonight. The final ball from Rangers so often this evening, just not quite of the quality required. but take nothing away from Clyde. They have been absolutely excellent throughout this fixture, and with 10 minutes remaining, make no mistake, either side could book their place in the quarter-finals, although Buffel, very determined, 2 goals already this evening, wants the hat-trick. Plays it into Novo, shooting chance for Novo. Can he escape his marker? It spins off the defender, and good goalkeeping this time. Jarvie will be delighted to have got 2 gloves on that ball. And Novo frustrated that he can't get on the score sheet. Brawley attacks Rangers in the flank at the pace of Loeing. Good defending from the youngster. He'll be disappointed to have picked up a yellow card. Even more disappointed to have conceded the penalty kick. But it's the end of the match for Novo. And he's replaced by Hamed Namouchi, the 21-year-old. Signed 2 years ago to the day, can you believe? From Cannes, now a fully fledged Tunisian international. He's got some 7 minutes or so to see if he can book Rangers' passage into the latter stages of the CIS League Cup. Ian Murray drives forward as well. Has he got a shooting chance on? He just perhaps lost concentration at the moment. Bit of a decoy run was required to perhaps open up a shooting chance for himself. Nieto flicks on the header. Namouchi has to chase it. Malone, quick and determined in the tackle. Stephen O'Donnell, who scored from the penalty spot. With Brawley now. And again, Alan Loeing does well. Huge positive for the youngster, despite conceding that penalty. Oh, it spins off the heels of Murray. And Rangers have the free kick. Kyrgiakos just impeded as he went for the ball. Rangers take it quickly again through Ferguson. Bernard plays it down the tram lines there for the onrushing Buffel. Holds it up well, policed all the way though. Drops in the delivery for Nieto. Nieto, I'm not quite sure it was attempting there. It was just about keeping possession to try and give some space to Buffel to return. It doesn't happen. And then goes harmlessly behind for the goal kick. We've got 6 minutes remaining. Great credit to Clyde for the performance tonight. Rangers at times less than inspiring. But they have 5 minutes plus stoppages now to address that. Ferguson, good ball in the channel to Namouchi. Well, only Hamed knew it was attempting there. Bernard, for me, who's been outstanding most of the match, does well to pick up the loose ball. Feeds it to Lovenkrands. There's the cut back. But look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Clyde defenders. You could have thrown a blanket round them. Lovenkrands keeps the ball in play. Nieto header over the bar. Well, 5 defenders attacking the ball. 3 defenders inside the 6-yard box protecting their goalkeeper. You can't ask any more than that if you're Graham Roberts tonight with this very, very young Clyde side. They may have conceded 2 goals, but for a long, long time they'll remember the 2 goals they've scored at Ibrox Park And with time running out, it's still Rangers 2, Clyde 2. Williams to Arbuckle. Links up O'Donnell. The forward runs from McGowan. And Bernard just uses his experience. Doesn't dive in. Just picks the ball off the wide player. Uses Lovenkrands, who feeds it to Ferguson, who plays the ball for Buffel. Goes for the switch. There's the run from Lovenkrands. Cuts inside. Surely the winner. Oh, good defending again though. McKeown just invited the Lovenkrands to come on to him and just smuggled the ball away from the flying Dane at the crucial moment. It looks like a bit of cramp here for Craig Bryson. He wants to come off though. Got his name in the score sheet, of course. Took the ball from Tom Brighton and just flicked it behind Ronald Waterreus. 6 minutes into this second half. I'm quite sure young Craig Bryson will sleep well tonight, whichever way this match finishes. Bit of a technical confab. Graham Roberts and his trusted assistant Jimmy there. Stephen O'Donnell perhaps looks across. Bit of cramp, I think, for young Craig. It looks as if we could be heading for injury time, as Rangers just return possession to Clyde. We may be heading for extra time, not just injury time. Young Craig Bryson gets the nod to continue, although he certainly isn't running free. As Rangers, through the substitutes, try and find a very late winner. Buffel again, who's been lively throughout, with Ian Murray. To Bernard, always willing. Flips in the delivery, good defending again. All the way back to Bernard. Goes the alternate route, short ball to near post, but again, Craig McKeown. Has been a rock at the heart of the Clyde defence tonight. Now again with Murray. Pushes it forward, slack pass, cleared McGregor. Now Brawley for Clyde across the halfway line. It's the first we've seen of them in an offensive mode for some time now. Links up with fellow substitute Arbuckle, back to Neil McGregor. Namouchi, well positioned just to usher the ball back to Waterreus and take the return. Buffel comes short, Nieto going long. Forced away from goal though. Namouchi again into Buffel, surrounded by a posse of Clyde defenders. Murray tries to conjure up a good delivery. McGregor with a defending header. Before the target from Lovenkrands. Step over, try the cut back. Goalkeeper intercepts. 90 minutes have come and gone. We will have 4 additional minutes, as signified by the 4th official. So Rangers have 4 minutes if they want to progress to the quarter-finals, as O'Donnell just impedes Alan Lowe. "90 minutes indeed on the clock. It's the end of the match for young Bryson. He did pick up an injury. He's going to be replaced by another former Rangers youngster, Andrew Dick. Well, young Andrew Dick never got any opportunities to play at Ibrox. He left the club in the summer, quickly snapped up with Graham Roberts. He's got 3 minutes or so to prove he perhaps should still be on the Rangers payroll. Namouchi can't keep that one in play either. Young Andrew Dick came off the bench for his reserve debut last season up at Inverness, and actually started one game after that. He'll enjoy the moment. He may well get an extra half hour because the teams are tied at 2-2 and we're deep in injury time. Barry Ferguson flips the ball forward against. Chance for Nieto, no flag. Yes, there is. He was just fractionally late. Graham Roberts just with a wee header there. I'm glad it was a header to Hamed Namouchi and not a tackle. Ferguson again takes the pass from Namouchi. Majestically drives forward, links up Bernard on the flank. Well, 3 blasts on the referee's whistle, and Rangers had to come from behind with 16 minutes remaining. Thomas Buffel's goal cancels out the penalty goal by O'Donnell. After 90 minutes, the teams are tied. Rangers 2, Clyde 2.